let's talk about why recovery might be impacting your performance, muscle mass, and fat loss in the gym. So the year is 2024. You've been training now for quite a few years. You're doing your 3 sets of 10. You tried German volume training. You've done it all. But why are you still doing that? That's my biggest question. Now, one of the misconceptions people have about training is that your training has to be so different each time. And oftentimes I've met with people that are trying to do something different every time they go to the gym. You understand the importance and significance of having something you can easily adhere to. So sometimes you might find you enjoy something, maybe that's your, full body split. Okay, you enjoy that, great, that's given you some results. You've milked it for all it's worth, but then what? What do you do after that point? What are you then looking at in terms of improving your gym performance and so on? So what people need to do is make very sensible objectives. So for me, that means I want to, say I want to compete in a bodybuilding competition on June the 2nd. I'm not going to do that from changing everything every single day, changing my diet around every day, sleeping odd hours, no control, no management. Now, you may have heard this quote before: what can be measured can be managed. And I absolutely agree with this. I've seen this myself. So I've actually tracked my macros or my training or my sleep. I measured each one out of 10, how I feel, how I perform. But then, okay, great. Maybe I feel good doing this, but ultimately, what is my goal? I'm a competitive bodybuilder. I want to build lots of muscle and lose lots of fat. So I'm looking at that instead of how I feel. Now, sometimes you don't actually get to enjoy everything you do. So for me, what I did last time, 2021, when I competed, I did 3.5 hours of activity every day. I didn't enjoy it. I'd think if I did about an hour a day, I'd have probably enjoyed that. But it got to the point where it's just wearing me down. I became mature. I was checking on my steps and how many minutes I was doing this, that, and the other, my blood pressure, heart rate, everything. Pretty much for no use, because a lot of those measurements didn't have utility. They weren't the result of what I managed to achieve on stage. Now, did they make an impact? Yes. The problem is you can't make a big impact in your body composition by focusing only on the exercise. So at that time, yes, I was on a carnivore diet, but I was also eating a lot of food, partly due to my previous binge eating tendencies. So I was on 550 grams of protein and 150 grams of fat at my lowest point. Now, did it work? Yes, it absolutely worked. I achieved my goals, my objectives to look absolutely shredded on stage and place pretty well. Now, does it mean that I'm going to continue doing that? No, there's always a better way. So I can look back at the things that I can measure, so how I felt time to time. I didn't feel good doing all that. I can say, okay, how do I do this? How do I get into contest shape without spending 3.5 hours doing exercise each day? So this is what I'm trying to work out right now. How low does my food have to get? And ultimately, we know, your food intake is going to impact your body composition results up to around about a mark of 85%. So if, for example, your fat loss is 2 pounds per week, I'd say over 3/4 of that would be because of the diet you've adhered to rather than the exercise you've performed. Now, if we look at exercise as being the mainstay, the thing that you can optimize, get better and track and all that sort of stuff, but then move the diet around from there, you've got less to stress about. You're still trying to do the same workout in the gym, but get better, more intensity, better form, technique, all that sort of thing. More weight, more reps, more sets. But ultimately, if you're changing it all the time, you're not going to know it's going to work because you're impacting the diet as well. Now, what I'm basically saying here is a diet is going to be a bigger lever of your physique outcomes than anything else. And that's one of the biggest objections I get of a lot of people is, oh, but I'm not doing 2 hours of cardio per day. No, the diet has accounted for that, so you don't have to worry about doing 2 hours of cardio a day. That's the point. So anyone that knows me or has been coached by me, I take a very health-first, health-focused approach. How much should you change your diet when you're trying to get absolutely shredded or lose a significant amount of body fat? I'd say I probably wouldn't go below 20% in terms of what your baseline maintenance amount of food is. So if your baseline food is 200 protein, 200 fat, I wouldn't go below about 160 grams of each. That's about as steep as I'd go. Now, you can add in additional days of, shall I say, reduced food intake even more, but I wouldn't do them very often because often that impacts your training, which is a very important thing to help you maintain muscle mass as you start to lose the excess fat. So what I'm trying to say here is you need to really focus on doing the right stuff. So it means eating the right food, and doing the same thing over and over again. These plans which change everything day to day, week to week, do not help you. They spice it up because you think you're getting something new and you've invested this money, these, I don't know, $200-300 into a coach, and they're giving you more. They're not giving you more. They're taking another little cutout out from the book. You know, they just do the same thing day in, day out. Milk it for all it's worth, get all the results, then change it. You don't need to change your workouts that often. Now, in what instances might someone actually change their workouts? That's a good question I often get. For me, it's generally speaking around about once every 6 to 8 weeks. And even then, it might just be a change of exercise equipment. So, for example, if I'm not enjoying the hack squat in the gym, I might move to the leg press for a few weeks. I might move back. I might interchange them a few times. It's very individually dependent. You're not going to work out what you recover from until you do it. So train as hard as you can, but do as little as possible. So the time that you're in the gym, I'd say for most people, honestly, 5 to 10 sets is enough for pretty much anyone. And that's elite trainers. That's people that have been training for years and are trained to failure. That's about as much as they want to do. In terms of frequency, about 4 times a week. Some people do more, some people do less. Again, go by recovery, see what your body permits you to do. Now, when you're gonna know about what recovery is, you know, everyone says, "Oh, you need to sleep 6 to 8 hours a night." Okay, great. Then what? I know plenty of people out there that have chronic fatigue that sleep 20 hours a day. They don't recover well. So recovery is also the diet, which is the cornerstone of all this body composition stuff. So what that means is you're getting the right amount of protein with the right amount of fat. You're eating to satiety when you are hungry. And when you're not hungry, you stop eating. Then you eat again when you are hungry. So that's what should dictate your training performance and training frequency, I think. So you're very much focused on trying to nail the training, nail the diet day in, day out, day in, day out. So if I saw someone's, I don't know, check-in sheet and they wrote, "This is what I've eaten throughout the week," ideally, the people that get the best results can be people that, you know, do day 1 to day 7, the same thing over and over again. That's what gets you the results. That's the quickest way to go about it. Because you know what you're doing, you're reducing the variables. All these extra things that's come into a lot of people's training. 1 week I'm going to do drop sets. Next week I'm going to do rest pause sets. We'll just pick one, milk it for all it's worth, use it for all its intended purposes, then move on. You know, so what I'm saying here again, stay steady, stay the course, follow the process. And when you can be pretty damn sure the process has not worked, then change it. Hopefully this video's been useful to you guys. Leave a subscription for me, leave a like as well, leave a comment. Sometimes it helps actually, so actually if you press a button down here, it says like, then that's good for me, and it's good for you, because it means you feel good about doing something for me. There we go, thanks very much. Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.